Hello, once again, dear viewers, and welcome back to another Moonflower Tarot reading. And today I'm going to be channeling a message from the Akashic Records regarding your current life situation and how it relates to either a past life or a karmic or a soul pattern of behavior, and how working through it and processing it will help you to become a better person or help you to manifest things into your life a little bit easier. So, we're going to be just taking a look at that as well as perhaps some reasons why you might be going through shifts in your life right now. If that is a repeat of an old cycle, I'm mostly going to keep it open. And since this is a timeless and general message, it's just whatever feels right whenever you're watching this. And observe where you are right now, spiritually and esoterically. There could be things coming up right now that came over from a past life that is just your soul trying to figure things out. But I'm specifically going to be channeling messages regarding a situation that's happening, what has happened in the past, who you were when it has happened, either in a past life, or even in this incarnation, who you are now and how you're dealing with this, and then look at how it's going to influence who you are becoming next on your life's journey. So, with that in mind, thank you for joining me. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out my channel, but just you being here helps out a lot. So, let me just first of all tune in a little bit. I need to kind of come back down because I was trying to figure out the best way to put this introduction, and then something completely different came out. So I think there's a lot of things, a lot of news from the higher realms that just want to come out as well. And when I'm dealing with sorry, I have a hard time. You're gonna notice I have a hard time saying certain words. The Akashic records. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I pronounced it in a different way in another life. So this has to do with me too as well. I keep wanting to say Akashic, but it's Akashic. So yeah, so there might be certain things from another life that are coming up that are challenging you to push you through whatever obstacle you might be feeling, or just even clearing out baggage from an old life. So I sat down and I got a lot of very direct messages, and I wrote it down. And if I'm pausing, it's because I have a lot coming through right now, so you got to bear with me. Um, so what I was first seeing is you're probably going through a lot of psychic breakthroughs right now, and that might be why this information is coming through to you, and why it's coming through so rapidly to me as well. If you have been seeing an increase also in clear audience messages, or even visual messages, or just having visions, that there is a chance you have a past life you're waking up to, or you have some generational wounds that have been passed over to you, and you're overcoming them in a way. Some of your ancestors might have been healers or shaman. If you identify as some sort of healer, or you're going on the path of a sacred and holy witch or shaman or priestess, this might be for you. There's a possible past life situation that is involving a current situation that is just a mirror. You might be dealing with people who are masking or hiding their true selves, and you might also be mirroring and masking that pain as well. And that's perfectly normal, especially if you're a healer. You don't want to add more pain to someone you know is already feeling something. So you might be sensing a lot more of your powers coming online and not knowing what to do with that as well. There's something about sage and saffron that came up, and some of it has to do with smudging or certain types of cleansing rituals that you might be thinking about or going through right now. Ooh, okay, so I just got this really weird jolt. If you have, okay, so This is what I've been warned about. If you are opening to certain psychic gifts and you're welcoming and channeling certain entities, you need to keep yourself clean, but your space clean as well. You can't just be going out willy-nilly and welcoming in uninvited guests to yourself, as well as, the people who you are going out to help heal. You need to cleanse yourself every time you go out and you heal. If some of you are Reiki healers and you're new to this and you don't understand, like, the spirit is coming in and they're saying, like, the smell of a darkly aligned person is so stinky, your soul can sense it and you can't. Like, we can't sniff out people who are darkly aligned and dark souls. Like, it is possible for you to have the best intentions, to want to clear people of dark energy, but it attaches to you. It's like secondhand smoke. We deal with certain personality types that, like, gets into you, and you can't solve it, you can't absolve them of their spiritual issues. All you can do is help them manage it in the moment, make it easier, but you can't carry that. They carry it on their own, but don't take it home with you. Like, don't take your home with you. If you're a spiritual cleanser or a healer, do not take that home with you. That is not your responsibility. Like, sage the heck out of your house, plant lavender out the front. Say no to any wayward spirit that comes at your door. You have the power and responsibility as a healer to make sure your space is clean. Whatever you need to do, create a fairy lock, create some sort of ritual, like put seeds outside your door, like your ancestors did, to block any wayward spirits, because there are light and dark entities in all of us and the spirits we deal with. If you're going to be a healer, if you're going to be a manifester, if you're going to be a channeler and you're working on a deeper level, go back in time to your soul and your higher self and say, what were the things we used to do to protect you need to learn a new way of doing it. You need to read body language, I'm hearing, in a new way. Like, your soul is directing you to have greater protection, and not just with angels and ancestors. Like, there's a certain amount of responsibility that has to do with free will and choice. Yes, you can do all these rituals, and I'm hearing specifically plant seeds. So if there was a specific ancestor who told you to plant seeds around your doorway as sort of like a gatekeeper for negative energy, you still have the option to let that energy in. That's only like a security system, right? Like, you could have, like, a security system set up in your home, but if you leave the doors unlocked or leave the doors open, people will still enter in. You have to revoke someone's permission from coming in. So I just needed to say that, to clear out if damage has been done on your end because you were over reliant on this safety net of, I am a healer and a spiritual cleanser, nothing can hurt me, I don't need to do anything. It's like, don't leave your doors unlocked. Don't let people into your practice that you know are not safe or good for you or not clean. Like, don't go out and just heal everyone and anyone, because not all of us want to be healed. Spirit is saying there are fragments of me that don't want to be healed. Don't waste your time on people who will not do their end of the bargain. And don't let certain spirits in just because you feel sorry for them. Even if you think I'm protected, you still are the gatekeeper at the door. You can't give them permission. Okay, I need to say that because I think someone's higher self needed to come through, and I think some of you do need that message, because you can't just wave a magic wand. You still have the free will to let people in. Let me put that out there. So, yeah, one of the other messages that came through is our ancestors wore sandals not just to keep our feet cool, but to be closer to the earth. There might be a lesson needed to be learned here as well with grounding. Like, how are you grounding yourself? Not just earthing. I'm not just talking about that. I'm like, how are you spiritually closer to the ground as well as on high? You need to find a middle ground between being up in the clouds and down here on earth. How are you going to be the bridge between heaven and earth if you're just either all in the clouds or all down here, on earth? You need to not bury your head in the sand. No, not keep your eyes like located directly at your feet, but it's about finding balance. And I mean this with the most love, care, and compassion. You need to not plant your seeds on salted earth anymore, honeys. Like, if you go out there and you can't grow anything in a relationship, in a situation with a group of people, don't cast your seeds there. Nothing will be rooted. They can't water their own plants. What makes you think you can fit into their soil? Don't. So there's a lot of fierce energy here, and I feel like if some of your ancestors work with Sekhmet, definitely look into her too, because I'm getting some Egyptian roots and ancestry. If not, that's okay. There's some Mediterranean like skills here, Mediterranean certain types of folk practices you might want to look into. Some of you might even have roots in druid shamanic practices in either I'm seeing Northern Ireland. Like I was being taken to either Ireland or around Wales and Scotland, like in that area. If you have like some Norse heritage as well, like look into Norse mythology and just kind of pray with runes. Okay, that's interesting. So there's a lot coming through right now, and just only take what resonates for you. um, and again, I'm hearing candle magic. So some of you are people who have been using candle magic, or you have been practicing that. I'm hearing something about throwing stones. There are people who want to throw stones at your castle and tower to build it down, tear it down because you build it up. If you're dealing with that right now, that has to do with past life stuff. See, I'm going off of pure energy. We haven't even gotten to the cards, so you have to bear with me. There's a lot coming through. I wasn't this high energy before I sat down. So let's see if we can tone it back. Some numbers I was given to indicate like if you are going through spiritual upgrades, or if this is a past life situation or healing that needs to be resolved. The numbers 5, 66, 77, 111, 111, like any of those numbers, angel numbers, you might be seeing a lot more of those, but specifically, you might be seeing those numbers. Um, I'm seeing the colors green and blue, and definitely purple has been surrounding you. And usually, when I tap into the Akashic records, I get those colors as well as like periwinkle, which is sort of like a combination of purple and blue. If you might also be seeing a lot of angelic symbolism, like angel feathers or like bird feathers, or maybe I'm hearing you've been noticing cosmic symmetry. So like if you've been in a situation, the opposite situation happens. If you've been dealing with a lot of confusion, clarity happens, or if you've been dealing with clarity, confusion is around you. And it's not about dichotomy. It's not about like it's about finding a place in the center of something, and you're seeing both. So you're creating a space of completeness because the cosmos is like both can exist at the same time because both are true. There is nothing that is false in the universe. It's just a shift in perspective. So things could be going right, things can be going wrong, but things are going in a certain way. So it's sort of like black and white and then in the middle, and you're just right there. You might be noticing that happening a lot more, as well as an increase of, synchronicities just as well. I also heard the phrase, we are in the age of the sages. We are in the age of magicians and shaman again. So there might be a resurgence of people wanting to get back to these old ways, or like modern day, I would guess, I hear spirit magic, a way of combining both modern medicine as well as like practical holistic medicine in a way that is actually healing for the population, in a way that is actually helping. There's this need to let go of the ego of the modern day society and find a way to shift into a middle of what we had accomplished before as a species, before we were sort of taken over by this egoic mindset of power over everything, and we lost the lack of balance between earth and the material world. And if you are dealing with a past life situation, or even your ancestors are calling for you to awaken that gift within to become that balance that is needed here, because we need to be the bridge between heaven and earth, because we're way too lost in the material realm right now. And so your life might be shaking up to kind of gear you to be loose of certain material attachments. Not all material attachments are bad, by the way. The material world is necessary, and it exists because we create it so. So it's just about managing these symptoms you have that are coming up as you are transforming. And we're going to take a look into a past life and see who you were, what you did there. You were an angelic messenger that was not heard or taken seriously, and you turned around one day during a disaster and said, "I told you so." This feel okay. You feel like the volcanologist who went back in time to warn the people about Pompeii and nobody believed them. The person who warned the world that this thing is good. Okay, so this card reminds me of two things. First of all, the movie 12 Monkeys, whether you've seen it or not, like if you know a disaster is going to hit and you try to figure out how to either prevent it from getting worse than it is or even prevent it entirely, and nobody takes you seriously. And that's what it feels like nowadays to be a psychic empath. And even back when you were there, like in old times or in another life or in another star system, you could have had people at the end of a world or nearing the end of the world having a preventable issue occur, and you're like, okay, this is what you do to prevent it, and then nobody listened to you. So then your soul is like, what's the use of having this gift of prophecy? Because the thing is that timelines can be avoided. Like, not everything is preventable. Let me just say, you can't undo the past, but if you know something is going to happen and you see it happening, you can prevent it from happening. You can create an alternate timeline where that event does not happen. You can't observe it happening, of course. There's no proof that it would have happened because you've already shifted and changed the trajectory. But you understand what I'm saying. Like when you're given a choice at a crossroads and God is like, if you go left, you're going to be walking to your death. If you go straight ahead, you're going to be okay, but you might hit a pitfall. Or if you go right, you're going to have smooth sailing, but it's going to be longer. Which one would you choose? If you knew what you were getting into when you took a path, but once you're on that path, you don't know what those alternate versions of you are going through. You cannot observe them. You are on a new timeline. So when you were a priestess or a shaman, or just even like a healer, maybe you were an astrologer and you saw something coming and you knew it could be prevented. And you're like, hey, we need to just figure this out before it gets here. And nobody took you seriously. Like if you knew like washing your hands would prevent like germs from getting in a patient and everybody else didn't believe you, it was like, well, we have to invent a microscope to prove that. But it's like if you went around and you didn't tell anybody that this thing could be hurting people, it's like, okay, that was a very specific message. Yeah, so okay, I kind of got distracted. There might be this is also telling me there's a lot of information coming through and you might not know what to do with it or deal with it. So you need to ground. Brothers and sisters out there of the world, please, with peace and love, ground yourself. It feels like this is coming through rapid fire. I'm going to get a clarifier. You were getting, yeah, no, oh, freaking heck. You got this premonition. Like, I know how to change the world. I know something's going to happen. I know what we can do to make things better. Or I know what we can do to prevent people from hurting or disaster. And it doesn't have to be extreme. It could be something in your family. It's like, I know this person is causing harm. He needs to go or they need to go. Or I know this thing is just bothering you. Maybe it was like in medicine and you knew how to handle a patient. Maybe some of you were not just practitioners of magic, but that you were healers or you were scientists and people didn't take you seriously. Because that whole analogy, of the people who first founded germ theory. I don't remember the names. You might have to link it, write it in the comments. But it's like, before we understand what we know now about germs, like when people were doing surgery, they were just not washing their hands and they didn't have sanitation protocols. So the patients were dying sorry, that's very grim. People were getting sicker because they didn't understand how disease is transmitted. And then someone was like, maybe if we do this and put all these precautions in place, the patients won't get sick. And people thought that's ridiculous. There was a place in time where people thought, the earth revolves or the sun revolves around the earth. And I know there's still people who think that way. Like, don't come at me. I get it. I'm just saying that when our perception of reality changes, it's like usually someone comes in and says, "Hey, did you know this thing we once knew and followed is not actually good for us? And there's a different way to do it." You might have been one of those people, or you just blew the whistle on a bad situation. And in this life, you're repeating the same cycle of, I see this as happening. I'm saying it. I'm letting people know that we could be going on a course to danger. They're not listening. And unfortunately, sometimes that means you have to let go and get the heck out of there and just let them crash and burn. And that's a unsatisfying way to end things. But it's satisfying when you say it and you see it happen in real time and you kind of forgive them, because it's like these are the archaic troglodyte villagers who just do not know nothing. They don't want to do nothing. They just want to watch the world burn. It's like, ooh, we discovered fire. And then you're out here being like Copernicus, like, excuse me, that burns. And like, no, ouchie, caveman. So it feels like as a soul, you had ascended and you were incredibly intelligent and you knew what you were doing. And if not, you were extremely good in your field and wise, and people just did not listen to you and they got hurt. And then they blamed either you, but they could not blame themselves. So this could also have to do with a past life, like ancestor as well, like connected to the witch trials, because the witch trials were not about witchcraft, mind you. It was about like a land grab thing and a whole bunch of freaking religious zealotry. That's what that was. Like, people were being blamed for crimes they didn't commit because they needed a scapegoat and they needed to keep the people in line. But there were people who got hurt who didn't deserve it. And it could be possibly that you are reliving that. Like, you did have something so deep and sacred inside of you. Even if you weren't practicing magic or witchcraft, this just could have been a religious thing where you were more progressive and you wanted to help society, but you were at a certain point in time where that is not what the people in power wanted to do. They didn't want society to progress. They wanted people to stay stuck and miserable and subservient. And you're like, no, I don't want that for my people. And you could have believed in the same religion or the same God, but they only prayed to themselves and their ego. There was no room for holiness. You shine that light, and it might be hurting you right now to see others not doing it. You might be trying to preach a new type of gospel, not the prosperity one, not that you have to do this, this, and that in order to earn God's love. It's you are inherently worthy. How do you learn to love yourself? Maybe you're just trying to say something that a lot of other people around you are not, that is based on a more deep cosmic truth that is really rooted in the origin of your soul, where it comes from and what it's here to do. You could be connected to the angelic realms for all we know. You are a light worker in some way, shape, or form. I feel that. I'm also seeing the color of my aquamarine bracelet. You might want to invest in certain types of, I'm also hearing essential oils, aquamarine. That's good for claircognizance as well and protecting you, angel light, as well as amethyst. Investing in those crystals and investing in keeping them by your bedside overnight. And to help ground you with a lot of this energy, try to meditate and just focus on something in the palm of your hand, even if you get a palm stone, because this can be overwhelming. Because I'm feeling this with you. I'm feeling like when I first opened up my psychic abilities in my crown, you might be exhibiting symptoms of an overactive crown chakra, and that's okay. It takes a while to settle down, and you're just getting used to this. What I can tell you is what I feel right now with you is that you're getting used to this frequency you're not used to. You might be dealing with this. It won't happen anymore. You just understand and have patience with yourself, because it is hard to calm down when you come from so high up and you're kind of exhibiting this. It's not going to go away overnight, and don't blame yourself for how you feel, because it's part of the journey, let's say. Like, it's opening up a muscle. It's just trying to get you used to a certain level of, like, stuff. Okay, so I'm hearing going through this so you can learn a mastery over your own mind. And if it seems like I'm scattered, it's because I think you might, this is definitely you. Okay, let's see if we can look at your current situation. Yeah, no, it just feels like you're dealing with a lot of newness right now as well. This is overwhelming, but to have power over your mind, it's going to help you get through this, because there was a life where you were able to transmute and communicate very clearly these messages on high. It makes sense. Even if it's not that, even if you're a scientist, even if you were like not just practitioners of magic, just taking a lot of information and bringing it through and just grounding it, like that's a lot to be doing. Finding a way and looking back into what worked in the past for your practices, using something that you once did before to help ground you as well, whether it's meditating, whether it's going on a bike ride or a jog. Like I'm hearing some of you took up mountain biking. Go to a cabin in the woods and just relax and breathe. Sometimes isolation is the best way to clear your mind of a lot of energies, but also clear out stagnant energies, because information from an old life is coming into this one to help you move forward and clear a lot of blockages, or even just resolve traumatic events that happened. Because on some level, you know the truth, you understand the truth, you want people to see it, but you can't force people to see the truth or open their eyes for them. There are some people that just cannot change or know the truth. So yeah, having that balance between understanding the truth logically, knowing what it is, and knowing you can't change everybody, like the serenity prayer, like grant me the serenity to change the things I can, to accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. Like with peace and love, there are some people who just cannot move, that cannot be clean, that cannot understand. There are people out there who lack empathy and depth, and there are people out there who just are too afraid to change. And the system revolves around them. There are certain systems in our world that will support someone who is blind and obstinate over seeing someone who understands the faults in the system. The system doesn't want to have to change. And this could pertain to anything. This could be a career. This could be your relationship, family dynamics, like your own relationship with self. Like if a part of your ego is very stubborn right now, and I don't think that's it for most of you. Some of you, it might be. Some of you, it's just the situation, it needs to change. And from your perspective, you feel like you're the only one who can change it. The problem is that you're doing everything you can. You did everything you could in the past. And sometimes the only thing you can do is say, hey, this is what I noticed. This is what I observed. This is what I think should happen to change it. And here are the results of what will happen if you choose to change it. Whether you choose to do it or not is up to you. If you don't choose it, you're going to see more of this happen, and it's going to get worse for you. I give you my warning. Now I take my leave. Sometimes that's all you can do. You can warn people about the danger. You can't make them stop moving. Like if people see that they're going off a bridge, they're not going to put on the brakes unless you tell them to, but they're also allowed within their reason to put on the gas to go off the bridge further, you know? Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like if you see there's an obstacle up ahead, warn them. But then it's on them to actually adhere to that. They could be very well people who want to see the situation crash and burn because they like it. There are people out there who go out of their way to sabotage their careers and relationships and their own healing because they are addicted to pain and they don't want to heal. Don't get stuck in that trap. Say, this is what you do to fix the situation. This is what I see happening. I predict if we don't do this by this deadline, a lot of things are going to happen and shift in a way that is not going to be good for anyone. This is what you need to do to fix it. If they don't want to fix it, get out of there. Your voice and your truth and your vision is needed elsewhere. Your clarity, your peace of mind, your groundedness is needed elsewhere, and you deserve better. You deserve better than people not listening to you. Get out of there. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm seeing is the best for your outcome. If you've dealt with that in the past, like, change you and the people you are with, because the people who really matter will listen and change. So I hope that really helps when it comes to this situation and resolving it. I think some of you have already seen this happening and see it coming. You know what this is related to, and this is an ongoing thing, but I'm just seeing this happening a lot more in the world. It's like not taking things seriously, not understanding or taking the advice of people who see, you know, who see the future. We're not amateurs. We're not. Like, even if you're not psychic, if you understand a pattern of behavior that is destructive in a person and then in the planet, in a system, and you say, don't do that because it's common sense to you, but to them, they're like, well, I don't care. It's not going to affect me now or later. It's like, you don't know that because you don't have the skills I do. You're going out there, you're trying to help people. They might not be listening. You might not be obligated to do it forever. And that's a truth that is very difficult to learn, especially if you're in a healing position. Sometimes you just need to shift and understand these people, they've gone wrong. Even when I told them what's right, it's okay. I love them. I forgive them. I forgive myself for even trying in the first place. But it's not on you. And don't shame yourself for loving and giving your heart to people who, took it and didn't use it for good, So that's a lot. Um, Bear with me because this is a lot of energy coming through. And I think this is very passionate and vibrant. Like, this is very much high energy. Like, you're in this pastel like rainbow of angelic energies, and it's very different and new from what I've channeled before. Like, literally, this is so much. So last week I did you don't have to watch it, by the way. I did a message from the mushrooms. Like, this is definitely like, no, we're not trying to calm you down, we're like getting you fired up, y'all. You're up here in the stratosphere, and I'm just letting you know it's okay. You might even be associated with certain angelic beings. That's good. You're here to help the world heal and to ascend. That's why light workers exist, to help people get to their highest light, but they have to walk the road. You light the path, they have to walk it. Because no, you're just healing the part of you that sits between, in the middle. You are both of everything. You are this cosmic symmetry, high and low, black and white, the spectrum of the rainbow, the bridge between heaven and earth. Whether you know it or not, whether you feel it or not, because one of the truths that kind of was given to me when I started this path of being a psychic healer and priestess was that you don't have to actually know what your soul is to be acting upon the universe's interest. So you don't have to know you're a light worker to be a light worker. You don't have to know where your soul came from to be that healer, that shaman. It's better to know. Sometimes it's good to know because it gives you more clarity of, oh, I've been here before, so I can do it again. You've been here before. Some of you have. And it doesn't matter if you use it like in the way like other people do. You don't have to be a Reiki healer. You don't have to be like a freaking tarot reader. You can go out there and be a teacher, be a counselor. You can be a shaman and be a nursery school teacher or be an educator. Like, I'm getting that. So some of you might be going into education and you're kind of warning other people that there's something going on with maybe the students, and you feel it because you're very connected to your inner child. And that's possibly a specific message for some of you if you're starting the school year or if you're starting a new career as a teacher. I'm getting that. Also, I'm hearing Sunday school. Yeah, if you're noticing that a certain religious factions are going in a direction that's not quite good or in the opposite of what you know to be true, this might be a difficult time in your life or season for you. But the only thing that you can do is master yourself and your conditioning and working with the part of you that is connected to the divine. Whether you pray, whether you work with certain types of, I'm hearing ancient metals, if you work with certain types of metals. Okay, so I was seeing a metal like um like a like a bronze metal. So that might be specific if you like praying with a metal in your hands. Well, that's interesting. If there are certain types of ancient practices, because okay, now I'm being taken to Haiti. Um, yeah. Whatever your ancestors used to align themselves with a higher frequency, and that that power of love, that center of love, because God exists in all of us. And however we pray to him, however we practice that religious spiritual medicine is really up to us. We still have a unity divine between him and us, right? However you practice that. But teaching other people that we are connected and we are part of the divine and we are loved by that divine source is important now. And you are the fuel to that fire, that holy flame, connecting everyone together wherever you are, whether you know it or not. You can be an actor, you can be a librarian, a musician, a politician. You are that bridge. You are that. So be that, because the world needs that more than ever. And Spirit might be actually calling you to keep some of your inner truths or connections to the divine hidden within yourself. Like, they need to be made real to you before you can expose that to the world. But there might be, yeah, you need to be, okay, I'm hearing you need to be hush hush during this period of your life and not tell anybody you're going through this ascension internally. This feels like a solo mission. If you're a solo practitioner, definitely keep a lot of your ascension practices to yourself. You can still be a light worker and teach people how to ascend and align with the divine without revealing who you are, what you're doing. So if you're like a counselor working with kids and just saying, you need to love everyone, because love is what makes everybody feel better and what heals. That's a way you can be like that healer in that light without saying, so I am a ancient soul who is a psychic who is trying to heal the world. Like, you know what I mean? So keep that spiritual identity hidden until it's ready to be revealed. Keep that to yourself. That is sacred. No one needs to know. I don't need to know. Your ego might want people to know because you want to like take that and show the world and say, this is how you do it. It's like, no, you need to keep that part hidden. Say what you need to say and trust who you say it to will follow that light in you. They deserve that love and to know that they are loved by the universe and by you as well. And I think this is all I have for you right now, dear viewers. If you have been going through a lot right now, the shift in this world, and maybe even dealing with people who have a lack of empathy or love in their hearts, just know there's a lot of love coming to you as you align with the divine. That just naturally enters in, as long as you feel that within your heart and you still hold a space for compassion and empathy for the people around you. Even if you're a little bit aggravated, even if you can get mad at them, that's not a sin and that's not darkness, because darkness is just like this side of people, that needs to exist. You understand that. You can get mad at pissed at people that you love and care for, and you can walk away from them. Sometimes that's the most loving thing you can do. It's like, okay, you're gonna F up, do it on your own, not on my watch. I've done my part. It's like sometimes that might feel cold and callous, but you know what? That's a beautiful thing to do, because their soul is gonna learn. And that's going to come back to you, because you are a loving, beautiful person, and you just hold that within you. Don't hide it from yourself. So thank you once again, dear viewers. I wish you all the love in the world, and I wish you the best of luck with this transition in your life. And I will see you in another reading.